night, and I wish that I had paid a little closer attention to it. But I remember at one point also, Sami Zayn goes to do his dive through the second ropes, that he always does, and Shinsuke kicked him in the head.
Kicks him right in his freaking head.
What about you, Rhodey? What do you remember from this match that really kind of stands out?
I mean, I think if this match would have been by itself, I think it still would have been great, but I really think the crowd around it really built this up because they were so into it. And then obviously, from everything I've heard, Sami is very in tune as to what's going on with the crowd and how to kind of like get them swirled up even more. And then Shinsuke is just so charismatic as it is, and he's trying to figure out, or he's just showing, like, I don't think there's anybody else on that roster that night that could have pulled out a match that Sami Zayn did when it comes to, like, that strong Japanese style that he was so known for, but also having to make that transition over to the WWE style. And so, like, I thought at certain points they were kind of potatoing each other because they were going real hard, especially when, like, Shinsuke had him in the ropes and, like, he was just stomping down on his face. And then later on the other side of the ring, Sami had Nakamura in the ropes, and he was just looked like he was potatoing him like it was a Matt Hardy Edge match. It was bad.
2005 reference. I like it.
You like it?
They probably were, man. Shinsuke, they don't mess around. They go for it, man. It was one of the things I watched. I just recently watched the Broken Skull session with Ric Flair and Stone Cold. And Stone Cold says Flair says at one point in a match with Taker that, like, he just kind of was like, he was talking about how he hit Taker hard, like, kind of hard, because that's just how he was doing it. Yeah. And then Steve was like, but that's how all the guys work now. Like, every once in a while you did it in your match, like you're fighting Vader, like, yeah, you're going to pop Vader. That's who it was. It was against Vader, actually, not Taker. But, like, the young guys now, they are all snug. They all, and to a degree, I think that's true. A lot of them are more snug. But you're right. That night, it was even, like, more snug than it looked like we were watching, like, a Wrestle Kingdom or something like that. It was that kind of, like, action.
I think that, too. Yeah. So what drew you in, Sergio? Like, obviously, now coming back out of it, reading that it was one of the top 10 matches of the 2010s. What do you think it is, in fact, should be in the top 10, or?
Well, I mean, I don't see how there are 10 better matches than that in 2015.
I'm not sure you've gotten into New Japan yet. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Well, as far as, I mean, even then, because I was going to say, like, the reason I love this match so much is because I'm a big fan of strong style. Like, all that Misawa, Kabashi, Kawada shit from the 90s, man, I eat that up like delicious pudding.
That's how I came to find out about Japanese wrestling, was actually because of Sergio, because he's like, check out this 2 VHS tape set that I got in the mail. It's called the Super J Cup, and then he'd be like, here's this freaking Kawada Misawa match. It looks like they broke each other's necks 14 times in suplexes, like. I
was like, yeah, exactly. Like I remember going to this website, and I would get, like, I got like a 2 VHS set of the Super J Cup 94. I got a DVD or a VHS DVD. Come on,
we weren't there yet.
VHS copy of there was the what is it, the tournament, the All Japan tournament, that the
Carnival,
the Royal Road tournament.
Yes. Carnival's the other thing.
And this year, I can't remember which one. I can look it up really quick. It was it was the Royal Road tournament is it's the new one. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're the Champion Carnival. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I felt like that was a thing in the 90s.
I guess it would have been in 94.
It was probably All Japan.
Yeah,
those guys work for All Japan.
It was All Japan for sure. But it ended, and it's like a it's for those of you who don't know, it's a round robin tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and so everyone wrestles everyone. There's a point system involved, depending on if you win or if you draw. Um,
The Japanese promotions love those round robin tournaments.
and
I love
the-
like
I do too though.
I-
We've talked about that before about how great they are to like it's way I think the round robin tournaments are better than like the 50-50 booking, right? Because like it gives you more things to do with the guys. Like sure, Will Ospreay may have like drew that match or may have lost that match, but he freaking killed it in this other match.
yeah.
You know, anyway. 94 Kawada.
and so the way they booked it, the way Giant Baba booked it was brilliant. So the big guys, Kawada, Masawa, and Kabashi, they all had the same amount of points to end the tournament.
Well, what do you do? What do you do in a situation like that?
And so what they did,
Another round robin tournament.
they held a smaller round robin tournament between the three of them.
Why wouldn't you?
Okay, it was in 1997. And so, yes, it's due to a three-way tie for first place between Kawada, Kabashi, Masawa. A one-night round-robin playoff was contested among them, with the winner claiming the tournament.
Oh.
And so, and Kawada finally ended up winning it after, no, he won it in '94, but I guess coming out over Masawa and Kabashi. But so you have this awesome tournament, and then you have like the three main stars like wrestling each other all over again. And so I've been a fan ever since
of that style.
Of that style. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we went down the rabbit hole on that one.
We did.
I was curious how we got here for a second.
Strong style.
I know.
And so whenever I found out that Nakamura, he's like, he's bringing his strong style back, and that's his thing, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. And yeah, he did not disappoint. Absolutely loved that match.
It was.
Now, I know you were further in the New Japan hole than we were. Were you watching Nakamura's rise when he was coming through New Japan, or
like in the early 2010s?
Yeah.
No. By
2008.
By that point, it was. I wasn't watching wrestling as much, and so, what little wrestling I was watching, it was WWE, and then. When I started watching wrestling again, I was watching a ton, but I wasn't really watching Japanese stuff simply because I had to pay for it, and I had a kid at the time. I still have a kid, but
she's doing great.
She's just fine. She called me this morning.
Oh, good.
I was like, what are you doing? It's not. It's like my mom's still asleep. It's 9 o'clock. I'm like, Corona
loafer.
But no, I got Now that New Japan has this streaming service, yeah, I can't wait.
I think one of the things that I told you was like the Bullet Club got really popular, and I think Strong Style is partially because of that, right? Because New Japan was so popular that Strong Style came back into style. I would say even like the indies have now been influenced by that, and even the WWE to some degree because of all the people that came from New Japan and the indies where that was way more prevalent. So I think really like Nakamura coming in just really solidified that, because AJ Styles came shortly after that. Or he came before that. Okay, just a little bit before that, like the Royal Rumble before that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't go to NXT. I mean, he didn't need to, but
he absolutely didn't. Yeah, I think that was that match was really kind of like, yes, this style is here now in the WWE, and I mean Shinsuke still wrestles that way though, not as much now because
Yeah.
Well, it also helped that whenever they got Samoa Joe, because Joe has wrestled that style forever also.
Yeah.
So I think, especially when they were able to have killer matches in NXT
with their over the NXT title.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. Any other thoughts about that one before we move on to the?
I love the way it
baller triple threat.
He took the Kinshasa just as he needed to, and then it was a great debut. Respect past the backwards, but kind of, because Shinsuke does go on to win the NXT title not too long after this. And then he goes to the back, and it's all Sami Zayn's turn because he's on his way out. So, and he goes on to not win the IC title the next night.
He didn't, but he got pretty close. I actually thought he was about to win.
So was that.
And then he didn't.
And then woo, we have a new IC champ.
Was that? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Totally was.
Well, now Sami Zayn is the IC champion. So
He did. It was a shock. Didn't he lose it the next night on Raw to Miz, though?
To the Miz.
Sorry, Zack Ryder. You got your moment at least.
Hey, you're engaged to Chelsea Green. Congratulations.
All right, so the next match that we're going to talk about is a match from the Royal Rumble 2015. It was a triple threat match between John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar. And at the time, I would consider all three of these guys like super on top of their games. From a work rate standpoint, from being over with the crowd. Even though Cena was getting a lot of boos, he was still getting a lot of he was getting a lot of pops from little kids and stuff. Not Rhodey, who was always yelling at him. Anyway.
Super upset.
I thought the build wasn't super great, so I wasn't really expecting this match when it came at you. And it comes at you.
Well, so what's funny about this is that so this is the Royal Rumble leading into WrestleMania 31 in San Fran. Seth Rollins has got the briefcase. He kind of weasels his way into this match. And then it's funny how much you have to fast forward to WrestleMania to where he's intercepting himself into the match of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar for the world title. Mid-match, boom, Seth Rollins' music comes out, and then it's just from there on out, he starts cementing himself as the man for the WWE. But this match, he's going against the man at the time, which is John Cena, and the man
who had the title.
Yeah, the man with the title on the second run in the WWE, Brock Lesnar. And it was just a show out. It was just
who is Brock Lesnar at the time, who is fresh, not necessarily fresh, obviously it happened at WrestleMania before, but he has come off of beating The Undertaker, dominating the performance, everything that he's done, killing John Cena, in those matches that he had with him. He is at peak Brock Lesnar, second run, just tearing everybody up.
Yeah. As much as he was always booked to be this unstoppable monster, this genetic freak. It's been more so, like you said, in the second run, coming off of a semi-successful run at actual fighting, where he was legit beating people up. And then obviously the whole thing with the Undertaker, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
When I heard that, when I found out that he'd beaten the streak, that he had ended the streak. And so I did some research recently, and they just said they wanted it to be shocking,
it was. I was literally in the hospital with my kid, we were watching it, and when it counted to 3 and they rung the bell, I was did that just happen? And I think everyone in the arena felt the same way too, because there's a really delayed reaction to everyone going what the fuck just happened?
I was there. And literally, it was okay, he's pinning the Undertaker.
Right.
I'm gonna look down, check my phone real fast.
Right. Oh shit! He lost.
Yeah, and then the bell rang. I was like, wait, what happened? Did I miss something?
This can't be over, right?
Right. Yeah. You thought it was a foregone conclusion. You thought, they're gonna have a great match, and it was a good match. It was a fun match. You thought that they were gonna have a great match, and then all of a sudden the Undertaker was gonna win. Okay, yeah, let's go on to the next one. And then when he didn't, you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this doesn't happen. How? Where are we?
And this put a rocket on Brock's back after that, and he just to the top of the card. Not that he was never not a main event attraction or anything like that, because he was previously a superstar and a UFC heavyweight champion.
Right.
But the way they booked him after that match was insane, and it's what you see today, I guess, too. But in this match, he was still working his ass off. And he had 2 other really great workers in there with him. Because Seth Rollins can work his ass off. That dude can sell almost as good as Shawn Michaels can sometimes. And John Cena is a great worker. I know that Brody doesn't like John Cena, but he is a good worker.
John Cena is a perfectly fine wrestler.